Hello and welcome to SquishiVision, where I have just finished watching Picard Season 3 Episode 1, The Next Generation. So this is the last and final season of Picard. Potentially the last time we'll see these characters, although, I mean, it'd be nice if they made some cameos in the other shows. And well, to be fair, I'm pretty sure Jonathan Frakes will keep making cameos in Star Trek until he's not able to anymore. But yeah, so we get introduced to, I guess, a couple of legacy characters in this episode straight away. And instantly there's a different kind of feel with the opening titles to the show. Use I think the opening titles kind of uses the Picard theme. I don't know if what we're getting for the titles in this episode are the same opening titles we're gonna get for the rest of the season, or if it's just one of the things you do where the first episode has like just a short title card, and then they play the opening title sequence at the end, and then every episode will have the title sequence at the beginning. It might be one of those things. Let's assume it's the latter. That version actually primarily plays, if I think correctly, the theme from First Contact, and then plays the Next Generation theme, whilst the brief opening titles in this sequence, in this episode, play the Next Generation theme and then the Picard theme. But instantly, there's a different kind of feel to things. It feels like it wants you to know that we're gonna be leading on more the Next Generation. History. Why is my bitrate low? Why do I keep dropping frames? There's no what that's about. And so we start the episode with the call to action, the instigating event where Beverly Crusher, who hasn't spoken to the rest of the Enterprise D and Enterprise E crew in 20 years, so pretty much actually shortly after the last time she served with them, for no apparent reason, just went cold turkey on them, is being attacked, and she protects someone who so spoilers, she protects someone who we later find out is her biological son, that apparently has been leaked in press, is Jack Crusher, named after Beverly's first husband, who was also obviously called Jack Crusher. So it's a bit interesting. I mean, he seems quite young, but he doesn't seem that. How old is the actor? (1988). How old is Will Wheaton? So if we're basing it off actor ages, he is 10 years younger than Will Wheaton. Not even 16 years younger. How old was Wesley Crusher? So, if we're assuming the actor ages are the same, and they might not necessarily be, obviously, for obvious reasons. But if we're assuming that he's basically playing someone who's about a decade and a half younger than Wesley Crusher, he would have had to have been born sometime during Beverly's time on Enterprise D, when she was still with Picard. Is Picard the father? Damn, this took a twist. I guess we'll find out. It's not revealed who the father is. I mean, I guess it would make sense. He's got a British accent. Ooh, that just hit me. I mean, Picard's never met him, so. Clearly, he hasn't met him enough to not have an influence on him. But anyway, Beverly fights against, she's not willing to put his life, Jack Crusher's life in danger, so she traps behind a door and fights off the invaders. herself, even executing someone who she already is not incapacitated in defense, but she gets shot and she's brutally injured and she gets put to crash sleep, and that's the instigating thing. And she sends a code message out to Picard, and there's like some references of stuff here. So apparently the code she uses is a code that was adding 3 to everything, and apparently that was something the Borg did to confuse the Enterprise D during the Best of Both Worlds. I can't remember if that was in the episode or not. Also, adding 3 to everything seems like not much of a code, but whatever. I mean, they did say they did other stuff, but then they're like, and they arbitrarily added 3 to everything, and I'm like, yes, it's arbitrary to the point of why would you even bother? But so that was a clue that they have to add 3 to all the coordinates she sent out to find out where she was. She gets in contact with Picard. A bit of like Picard pulling around the state, kind of how we start all these series, all these seasons, and he gets a message. So it comes to him on his old comm badge for his that he wears during. So in his old uniform, the one that was active during the mid 2300s. Mid to late 2300s, e.g. the second kind of next generation uniform. I'm not sure why he still keeps it. I mean, to be fair, I still have my old uniform when I was in the Air Cadets, but I've dropped my webcam. But why? But I mean, I did that because I wouldn't be able to ever get one again. I mean, I can't. Well, okay, I'm kind of explaining why. I kind of get it, but he never seemed like the person who, like, I kept the last version of the uniform that I got discharged with. He was discharged with a different uniform, so if it was that uniform, I'd get it. I'd get him keeping the last uniform he ever had, and that's what I have. I have the last uniform I ever had, but I had previous versions of the uniforms which I gave in and whatever. I mean, it didn't change, to be honest. And in the world where you can replicate anything, and like, I can't imagine those particular outfits had any kind of, like, it wasn't like the one he wore his entire time. It got like destroyed all sorts, and every now and then. I still, he didn't seem the type to keep his uniform, especially not like on a desk in his main room. Like, at the very least, he'd have it in storage or like hung up somewhere or on display. But I'm nitpicking here. He finds his old uniform. It's specifically black comm badge, but it still comes through like the house's speakers, and he gets a message. And he gets contacted. Even like everyone's like, Beverly only wants Picard to help her. He essentially gets in contact with a whole bunch of other people. No, not many people. He gets in contact with Will at the bar. Also, it's great seeing, like, I think John Frakes was like capture Will more than anyone. I think because he's played the role more and for like more recently. I don't know. Patrick Stewart seems to be playing more Patrick Stewart than he seems to be playing Jean-Luc Picard. But on the other hand, he does seem to be like playing how. I mean, to be fair, it has been like generation gap between the last time we saw Picard and then we saw Picard here. So it's not like he's acting in a way which is like, I can't believe this is Picard. It's just, it's not the same kind of person because obviously he's grown, which is fine. That's fine. Like, I always say that whenever I see characters who come back after a while, I'm like, it's a bit weird. Like, it's like when Tobey Maguire came back as Peter Parker. I'm like, well, it's a bit weird because he seems acting a bit differently. People do when they get older, obviously after 20 years. Like, I probably would be much different in 20 years time as well. So, I mean, I should probably bookmark this video and so we can compare how I am in 20 years time to how I am today. We'll see if my demeanor's changed at all. But anyway, but on the other side, like, I think he still acts like Will. He just looks older. They meet. They pledge to go on this quest together, and they put on a plan. There's another side quest happening, and I'll talk about that because it's kind of it's a B plot. Which is that. Rafaela Musica is undercover with Starfleet intelligence, trying to find this weapon that was nicked from the Daystrom Institute. That's a quantum tunneling device, and it's interesting. It hasn't really it's just a fledgling plot line, so we've not really got our teeth into it yet. But essentially, she's having to pretend to be an addict to get all these clues, which obviously she's not thrilled by, and it's kind of tempting her a whole bunch. But she's also frustrated because she's getting no assistance, and she's obviously pressure resting on her shoulders. Actually, it's really well portrayed. It's a bit out of place. It's this very much feels like a season 2, season 1 Picard plotline and a season 3 Picard episode. So at the moment, it feels a bit out of place, but it's not completely unrealistic. I mean, sorry, not unrealistic. It's not completely if I haven't felt it out yet to really judge it. Sorry, I'm really tired. My words are all over the place. But essentially, she works out literally minutes too late, which I'm sure is going to bite her guilt complex back pretty soon. She's only a few minutes too late to realize that what the Red Lady was referring to wasn't actually the buyer of the weapon. It was the target, and it's revealed that they were going to be putting a statue of Captain Garrett of Enterprise C out of red stone, and that was Red Lady, and that's the first target. And it's actually quite a horrific weapon. It basically pulls an entire massive building, which will have thousands of people in, if not hundreds of thousands, into a quantum tunnel, and then drops those people and those buildings on another populated area, killing even hundreds of thousands and more. That's really dark in terms of a terrorist attack. That escalated pretty fast. So they go into Titan A, where 7 of 9 is the first officer, but she's being forced to use her birth name, which is pretty okay. Well, let's talk about Captain Liam Shaw, who's the captain of Titan A, and he's obviously meant to. We're not meant to like him, and there's nothing much to like about him. I might like him a little bit, because I think he is kind of right when it comes to being well, no, I should probably do things by the rules. He appeals to my kind of do things by the rules, be objective, don't lead your heart kind of attitude that I currently very much have. But I think the intention is we're not meant to like him. He does a whole bunch of things that just makes him an asshat. He's excessively rude to two basically mythic Starfleet officers. He treats them with respect. He's already eating when they walk in. He doesn't stand up. He's a completely rude host. He deliberately humiliates them and puts them into bunk beds. He's an awful captain, and really, I mean, I agree with his decisions, but I hate his demeanor. I think his demeanor is completely inappropriate for his rank and role. So here's the whole thing about person is so basically Picard and Riker come on the ship, and they're gonna try and use their history and their prestige and the legend status to sway the ship into doing a slightly longer basically to go where they need to go under the pretense of showing the ship off in a way which Starfleet will probably be yeah, whatever, showboat a bit, and the Admiral told you to do that, well, whatever, it's fine, we don't care, we've got other things to think about. They will get in trouble for it, but he's no, we do things by the book, but he's really obnoxious about it. And I kind of agree with by the book bit, and I kind of agree with him not he's clearly he has wits about him. But he is still a Starfleet captain, right? I mean, he's still fundamentally upholding a lot of Starfleet's ideals, and frankly, telling someone what name they should identify with is a bit reactionary for Starfleet. I mean, he is pretty rude anyway, but there's rude, and then there's demeaning someone's identity. So no wonder Seven's really pissed off. It's almost as if it's a commentary on something, and that's what Star Trek's meant to be doing. So yeah, he completely denies their request. It's not clear if he sees through it or not. I mean, by the end he clearly does, but he denies their request. He humiliates them, and And Seven has this really great scene where Jerry Warren basically is another actor who, I mean, to be fair, it's not as long for her, but she very much feels back into the role. And the whole thing that Seven does in Voyager, where she like squirms angrily because obviously she doesn't outwardly emote, but she kind of like has this underlying emotional state. So like when she's like really pissed off in Voyager, she kind of like tenses up and like is very like tense with her anger, and she does the exact same thing here, and it's great to see like her replicate that part of her character. I really do like that bit. And she basically chews them out for like not trusting her, for not telling her what they're doing, for treating her like as for like trying to con her, but also for putting her in this position. And I guess, you know, credit she stuck it out for this long, considering she's been hating it this entire time, and she didn't want to be stealthily anyway, and she was really kind of encouraged there by Janeway and Picard. And I guess she gave it a try. I can't blame her. And it turns out she actually disobeyed Shaw's command and decided to help them out even before she knew what they were doing anyway. And they go to around the system, and clearly she's going to have to deal with the consequences of that. They both go to a ship, somehow thinking that two very elderly, retired Starfleet officers are going to be the match for something or another. Picard wasn't even that action-oriented to begin with. But luckily there's no one on board. Discover Crusher's son, discover Crusher in cryosleep, and then this ship appears, and they're like, oh, what is this? Like, this is like it looks kind of Romulan, but I don't think it is meant to be Romulan. And that's the episode. We also get to see LaForge's daughter, Sydney LaForge, but not played by what's her name? I thought Micah Byrne was going to be in this episode, or in this show. She is. Okay, so yeah, it's odd. I guess LaForge has two daughters, and one of them gets played by Micah Burton. No, sorry, Micah Burton, and the other one gets played by this other random actress. Not to undermine her, obviously. So yeah, we get to meet one of LaForge's daughters, Cindy LaForge. It's a really cute moment. We don't get to meet any of the other TNG crew yet, so I imagine they're probably going to come in the next episode. We're probably going to see Geordi and Worf. I think that's it, actually, right? Because Data's dead. And I know we're going to get Laura later on in the season, but Data's dead. I mean, Laura might come in the next episode. I don't think there's any other members of the crew. I don't think we're going to really get... If we're going to get Will Wheaton, we're not going to get him anytime soon, I don't think. And obviously he's maintaining he isn't going to be in it. So I think that's pretty much it. I don't think we're going to get Lasky. Yeah. But, like, there's... I think this is probably like the least confusing, because the previous two were like all about the mystery. Like season 1 Picard, it was very much around the whole synthetic plot, Romulan synthetic plot. Second one was about the time travel thing. This one is actually, there's a pretty clear set of goals for the characters. I suppose that was the case in season 1. I think season 1 became a bit complicated, and season 2 started off complicated, whereas this one's pretty straightforward. So let's enjoy characters a bit more. We haven't really got into the meat of what the season's about yet, but I'm feeling pretty good. I mean, I like the previous 2 seasons. I think season 2 is a bit muddled, but I still liked it. So that's my kind of rough thoughts. I'm probably not gonna blabber on for too long because my brain's kind of getting fuzzy. I'm gonna go doing washing. I'm gonna make some coffee, and then we'll come and watch Bad Batch so I can get all this kind of out of the way before my work tomorrow. So yeah, what do you think about the opening season? I mean, there are probably tons and tons of Easter eggs, and that's not what I'm going to be doing here. This is my immediate ramble and my immediate thoughts. I talked. Apparently, we see like the Enterprise, the Voyager B. We see Voyager B. We see Enterprise F. We're getting closer to the Enterprise J. We saw. Obviously, we see Titan A. I actually hope we get to see, like, I don't know, I feel like we're going to get to see more of Captain Shaw, or Captain Shaw's going to get killed off quite brutally in somewhat cathartic moment. Because he's just unnecessarily, like, but I really hope, like, things turn out well for Seven, because I really like Seven. And I think she gets, like, I think she's given much more to do here than she gets she's given in the previous, in Voyager. Or at least, like, she's less, no, actually, she's got plenty to do there either. I think it was just, you know, her character was there was a lot of like stuff going on. It's almost enough to make me not miss the fact that Santiago Rivera is in this batch. I really like Santiago Rivera. I can't pronounce his surname, sorry. Don't remember what it quite is. What else? Oh my, how is my microphone actually? I should probably watch this back and find out. I'm just gonna quickly, whoopsie, I didn't mean to do that. Thanks for catching that. I should probably put this down. Is this any better? It looks better. I forgot that I had my microphone boosted up for my calls because there's no power in this mic. I like the new uniforms. I realise the polo top I'm wearing is kind of the same command red, but it's actually just my... Oh, things froze there. That was very concerning. So it's just my work top. Anyway, I've clearly run out of thoughts, and I should probably get other stuff done. So, boy, I guess, boy. I don't know why I said like that. Yeah, I'll put if I don't crash and fall asleep, you'll probably see me in about an hour or so. Well, probably about midnight after I've watched this episode of the Bad Batch. Might as well get that out of the way. Yeah. Bye.